I'm a 3D artist, and in this video, I turned Minecraft villages into these massive, sprawling cities with a whole sewer dungeon, custom music, boss fights, and like 300 new buildings. And even got a panel of legendary mod developers and YouTubers to judge my work from 1 to 10. And it's all randomly generated out of these modular pieces, starting with the humble well. I started by building this massive plot around it, which has these road connections on all 4 sides, so other pieces can connect to it. Next, I just build hedges around the 4 corners and fill them up with random nonsense. We got a big tree over here that I made with World Edit, which I am an expert at. Next, I used this simple 400 line command to spread flowers and grass everywhere. That was intentional. For the other plots, I went with a fountain, a campfire, and a small forest with this swing made out of hanging signs. Well, that's one building, only a few hundred more to go. To make sure I don't break everything, I'm making these buildings on a grid system. Small ones are 8 blocks wide, medium is 16 by 16, and they'll connect to a series of roads which branch out from here. At least that's the plan, supposing everything doesn't break like it does every video. For the rest of these, I'm basically making upgraded versions of existing village buildings. Take this one for example. Simple, elegant, ugly. Blow it up. For mine, I went with a slightly bigger footprint and redesigned the upstairs floor as a loft for the priest to live in, which comes with a queen-size bed and a spiral staircase up to the top of the tower. You can find this on Zillow for $10 million. Yeah, maybe it's not exactly vanilla style, but when you see a whole city of these things, there's going to be plenty of other problems to focus on. For the armorer, I started with this big furnace out back. There's a lot of ways to make a roof in Minecraft. I happen to be aware of 0. Designing houses just isn't as simple as dropping a cube down these days. I settled on dark oak and mangrove for the roof and flower beds for the windows. Next, we just need ores, armor stands, chains, tools. This is supposed to be a kitchen, and finally a bedroom upstairs with a bunch of junk storage and the rafters we can use as loot. Now that's what I call an upgrade. This here is the vanilla butcher building. It's pretty cool besides the fact that I just lied. It's actually this one. They all just look shockingly similar. So I'm making mine more distinct by adding a storefront using this tarp held up by fence gates. I'm reusing a lot of the same DNA from the armorer's house, like the kitchen and flower beds. The main difference is this dude literally has a cow field connected to his kitchen. There's probably some kind of food safety violation there, but villagers have had it worse, so I'm not going to worry about it. I figured the cartographer would want to have a good view, so I went with a tower design with this roof on top. I'm never making a good roof, bro. The tower has an open roof design, very luxurious. The cartographer also sells banners, so I put those all up and down the place. There's an office, there's a bedroom with a moss ceiling. We're starting to get a good selection of buildings here, so before I move on, I made this farm, which has this high-tech multi-tier design to make better use of the space. It's even got this green roof on top with pumpkins, melons, water, trees, and Gregory. Don't worry about what he does up here. The farmer lives in this little hut on top of the roof. He's not too happy about that, but he also wants to see his family again, doesn't he? I made a few filler rooms to try and break up the repetitiveness. These things range in quality from good to made in 30 seconds. I even made this greenhouse looking library with a glass dome design. It's all dilapidated with leaves and vines everywhere, but as I placed my final cobweb, I came to a horrifying realization. I am far too lazy for this project. If I want this city to have more than 10 buildings, I'm gonna need some help. So I whipped up a Discord announcement, told everyone to hop on VC, and got to work building the village of the future. And after hours of brutal labor, we just played Gartic Phone for 2 hours. It was productive though. I gave them 2 weeks to build and set up prizes for the winners, and the results were more insane than I could have ever expected. So while they do that, I started working on a sewer system. The plan is to make a giant network of pipes that sprawl out underneath the village well. I'm going with a cobblestone-based palette with polished andesite, vines, barrels, chains everywhere. Just like the village itself, the sewer is made of multiple modules that can randomly connect together. Only this time, the entrances and exits are pipes. I'm adding a lot more spawners than usual just to really add to the insufferable difficulty of the whole thing. Here's a tall variant with water everywhere. I'm just gonna double the spawners on that real quick. Couple more. Honestly, just make the walls out of spawners at this point. While I was at it, I put connection points on the top and bottom of the rooms as well. That way there's a lot of vertical exploration, and rooms below would be flooded. You may think this is an evil design decision, but the truth is, you're completely right. This room is just a big pipe network filled with water, but if you go outside, there's a whole open area with spawners and chests. This one is just a wall of pipes. My favorite part is the insanely intricate roof design that you can't even see because it's so dark. This here is some kind of storage room. I'm thinking we turn up the loot quality on this one like it's an abandoned base or something. Then you get to the copper pipe with the tinted glass and you realize it's a water treatment facility. I think that's a decent amount of rooms for now, but I made a bunch of filler rooms just to be safe, like these pipe pieces, a mini dungeon. What is this, a salmon ladder, pool room, rooms, water elevators, secret entrance, and one massive pipe segment to connect the whole thing to the village. This is probably one of the most difficult dungeons to navigate since there's water blocking everything, but if you like suffering, you're gonna love this one. But if I'm gonna impress the judges, I'm gonna need a couple of things. For starters, I want the village to be centered around some kind of landmark, so I started working on this randomly generated skyscraper in the middle. I'm envisioning this as the villager trading center, so it's essentially the same layout as your average Walmart. Next, we just need a bunch of floors to pick from and put the boss fight at the very top. But to do that, we actually have to make the boss fight. I've designed a lot of bosses throughout the years, and I'm trying to add them all to the game. So what better design to use than the first one I ever made? This is the villager CEO. It's not even in Minecraft style. This was back before my videos took 300 hours to make, so we got our work cut out for us, but the end result is 100% worth it. I started by modeling a single emerald to place on the ground. I also made versions for different amounts of emeralds, and you can place them on the ground by right-clicking like this. When you break them, the emeralds burst back out like a piñata, and we can spawn these all over the village so the player has a lot of emeralds leading up to the boss fight. Next, I started making a small army of mobs to act as backup. First up is this business pillager. This dude looks like he's running security at a casino. He's got the sunglasses, he's got the emerald tie. Currently, it just works like a normal pillager, but he should probably have some unique function, so let me know if you have ideas. Next up is the business golem, coming in hot with the world's worst fitting suit of all time. The lore implications of this have gone from weird to completely insane, and I am not prepared to justify that. Not even a little bit. This is the business evoker. I gave him this elongated head with the Xbox ring on the side. The regular Vexes didn't really fit the theme here, so I made these little guys called Emerald Wisps. They're loosely based on the alley design, but instead of helping you with items, they follow you around and explode. And while I'm at it, I made a giant version that runs away from you and summons even more of these things. Summoner mobs are already overpowered. This is that, but on steroids. It's a summoner mob that summons a summoner mob. Just one of these things is capable of producing a swarm of biblical proportions. It's not balanced. I'm not gonna act like it is, but it is really funny, so I'm gonna do it anyway. Well, that's everything I need. So to make this boss fight, I remade the whole model in Blockbench, gave him fully articulating limbs. Even the suit has like a dozen bones so it can flap around in the wind. It's pretty hard to get the subtle tones on the suit right. I guess software development has removed the artistic capabilities from my brain, but I didn't sweat it too much, and this is the final model. Pretty cool, right? Well, it's one thing to make a model, but we're gonna need a whole moveset, animations, the whole 9 yards. Most Minecraft mobs are pretty simple these days, but take Zen Zone Zero for example. Every character has a basic attack, a dodge, 2 different dodge counters, 3 assists, 2 special attacks, a chain attack, and an ultimate. This is gonna take a while. My favorite is this giant bear named Ben who runs a construction company, and they drop these things like clockwork. They just did their big 2.0 update, which has a whole new area, Xbox release, 2 new characters. One of them is a Master Chef Panda. All they need now is a polar bear, and the trifecta will be complete. As a 3D artist, there's nothing more terrifying than seeing the sheer effort that goes into the environments and animations, and just hoping the developers are still doing okay. It's set in this post-apocalyptic world where you're basically a video store employee that has a side gig exploring these void anomalies to fight eldritch beings. Yeah, that's pretty much the best explanation I can give. Try Zen Zone Zero today. It's a lot of fun, and you get a bunch of free rewards during the 2.0 update, like a free S-rank character of your choice, exclusive avatars, and a dozen other things. And check out the new character Yi Shen, who flies around with a bird and blows everybody up with ink. Thanks EZZ for sponsoring. Let's get back to the video. But here's the basic rundown on how the fight works. He starts out sitting menacingly at the table, then he stands up and claps, phasing the desk out of existence. He does have this neutral fighting stance, but you almost never see it, because this dude sniffed one too many emeralds and spends the entire fight running around like an absolute madman. His melee pattern revolves around dashing towards an enemy and then hitting them with either a roundhouse kick or a flurry of ghost punches. CEOs love their MMA training, so this is actually the most realistic fight I've ever made. For phase 2, he starts levitating off the ground, shooting emeralds out of his chest and regenerating health. He also has the JoJo summon move where he just points in a direction and minions start popping into existence. Yeah, remember what I said about summoners 2 seconds ago? Well, now we've got a summoner which summons summoners which can summon more summoners. At any given second, there's like 100 explosions going on. I might just be insane, but I think this is perfectly fine. If the boss fight can't brick your computer, then are the stakes really high enough? I can't wait for the judges to get obliterated by this thing. And if by some miracle you can actually manage to beat this thing, the villager CEO drops the emerald staff. It's pretty typical as far as the design goes, what with the Ben 10 looking color scheme. The prongs and the floating orb are both animated, and it's one of the main rewards for clearing this dungeon, so I gotta make it do something interesting. So here's my idea. When you right click with the emerald staff, it'll summon your own wisps at the cost of 1 emerald. It can be used for 2 things: combat and really cursed mining. It's a bit simple compared to the nightmare gauntlet required to get it, but it gets the job done, and that's all I really want. Anyway, how hard would it be to add all that?
10.
Out of 100? Great.
No.
So while Skylar works on the mod, I decided to check if anybody built anything for the dungeon. My expectations are low. It's a pretty chill contest. I don't think anybody's gonna really... Okay, so it turns out my community has completely lost their minds. I was hoping for like 10 or 20 good rooms, and there are some people who beat that entirely by themselves. Check this out. This is one person, and they made like 100. Most of these are completely usable. Add some zombie spawners to the cemetery, connect some sewer pieces up to the well. Not to mention the houses. Do you have any idea the psychological damage it takes to make a good Minecraft house design? I ended up picking out 5 winners, but it would feel wrong not to add more since people put so much effort into them. Let's check out this one. Oh, okay, couple of park pieces. What? There's like 50 houses here and they're all well modeled with interiors. 2 weeks? Get out of here. Did you sleep? I can't believe I'm the one saying that. Wait, is this the Steve house from the Minecraft movie? Absolutely not based on any movies. Okay, cool. See, I was worried there for a sec. This one looks like a destroyed house on the surface, but it's actually a full parkour up to a chest at the top. And there's upgraded versions of every single profession in the game. Bro has a PhD in Minecraft. I don't even want to compete with that. Just with these 2 submissions alone, this village would be massive. But they just kept going. Check it out. It's a dead tree stump, but when you go inside, there's a whole dungeon down here. This is like a sushi bar or something. This thing blew me away. It's a giant multi-layer witch's tower with some of the most detailed interior work I've ever seen, and you can fall down the tower into this basement with spawners everywhere and a secret waterfall exit in the back. That's all in one building. Even the filler parts are just so detailed. This one's supposed to be a giant carrot, and if you dig into it, there's a killer bunny layer. This guy made a battle towers reference. That's cool. Also, you know, 20 more houses. Let's see what's in the parkour chest. What is this? Is my UI skill wrong for the... Out of respect for the builder, I will be keeping this in the mod. All 5 winners were completely insane, and I can't wait to show these to the judge. All right, diamond chest plate. That's a bit much. Come on now. I can't talk about every build, but I did say everyone would be in the video, so here's everybody. I'm gonna start building the next dungeon soon, so if you want to be part of it, join the Discord and lock in. And just when I thought the Discord was done cooking, someone volunteered to make music for the whole thing too. So without further ado, this is how the village dungeon will work. Villages will still generate like normal, but there's a 50% chance that a village well gets replaced with a custom well that contains a rift which sends you to the actual dungeon. And the best part is it works perfectly with shaders. Just kidding, it doesn't work at all. I wrote the rift renderer in OpenGL, but when you apply custom shaders, it kind of throws all that in the trash, so I basically have to use an animated texture. Super funny thing about that is that Minecraft doesn't support animated textures for entities. Isn't that so cool? So I had to write a custom animated texture system just to start fixing this issue. Technically, I'm a 3D artist, so I made this big wobbly rift shape generator in Blender and crunched the resolution down to 2, 3, 10 times less, and this is what it looks like in game. I even made it glow, scale to different sizes, and support 2 different colors just by layering the thing. Look, I'm down to spend more than a couple hours on this eventually, but it works with shaders now, so I'm closing the bug. Rest in peace, custom end portal. You will be missed. So the player finds the rift, and it spawns them in the sewer. For the music, we got that evil piano going on. Bring in those backing strings. Feels like you're disturbing some kind of ecosystem inhabited by sewer materials. Some of the rooms can be combat variants, which dynamically brings up the intensity of the music. There's even underwater versions of the song, so when you jump in the water, it swaps out the regular song with the underwater version. Dying still respawns you at the start of the branch, but it also refills hunger now, and if you run out of lives, it just kicks you out. And eventually, if you make it through the entire sewer branch, you find this vertical pipe that leads all the way up to the metro branch. This is the big one. All the buildings are generated in a grid-based pattern, and there are so many of them that you could go like 10 dungeons without seeing all of them. For the music, we got this jazz funk fusion going on. I'm thinking Persona going into this. Really fits the tone of iron golems with sunglasses, in my opinion. Technically, it is just floating above the void, so I implemented this post-processing system that generates an entire ocean wherever the metro branch ends up, and then wraps the entire thing with a border, so it makes a little bit more sense, at least. Unlike any dungeon I've ever made, this branch doesn't have any combat rooms, but that's because this one is an exploration branch. At the very center of the city is the skyscraper. The first floor is basically a giant shop where you can buy perks, items, and a special key. Before today, you could walk into something to buy it, like Binding of Isaac. That's a horrible idea here, so now when you look at a shop item, it pulls up a tooltip telling you what you're about to buy exactly. You used to be able to buy with XP levels, but now you can buy with items too. Since this is a village dungeon, everything costs emeralds, and to get past the skyscraper, you have to find a lot of them. That's why the loot tables in the village have a lot of emeralds. Not only that, but all the new enemies also drop a lot of emeralds, so there's actually a reason to fight them, even though they're so difficult. We also made a bunch of new perks, which basically give you some kind of benefit until you leave the dungeon. Previously, we had damage buffs for sword, axe, and bow damage, and an extra life, but now we have fire resist, strength, night vision, health boost, boost movement speed, dig speed, absorption, attack speed, poison immunity, and even long legs, which lets you step over blocks and fences. It feels a lot better now having this many options, but I remade the whole system so the list can be expanded in the future. Once you successfully find enough emeralds to buy the key, you're finally able to enter the skyscraper. This whole thing is made of a dozen or so randomly swapped floors, which take you through a combat gauntlet all the way to the top. You can get the key and rush the tower, or you can play it safe to save up and buy all the perks. And I even made a new room type where you choose between multiple rewards. More damage or longer legs, you can kind of steer your own build in whatever direction you want. And at the very end, after everything the player goes through, you finally reach the boss room. Huge shout out to Nangineer, the music turned out great. Go show them some support. I even whipped up this album cover for them so all the songs on the mod can be released. There's even a painting version of it in game and music discs that you can find. This dungeon is a complete fever dream. It went way beyond what I intended, and I didn't even talk about half the things we did. The end dimension used to be busted, that's fixed now. There's this crazy wand item now to make custom rooms faster, and if you beat the dungeon with a perfect score, it opens up the gauntlet version, which is everything I just talked about cranked up to 11. There's still a lot of problems, like the ocean taking 20 seconds to generate, but I'm calling it there for now. Wild Dungeon 0.1 is now available on the Discord. With that, it was finally time for the mod developers to judge my work from 1 to 10. All right, welcome to the dungeon. Super funny thing. Do you guys see that red sword over there?
Yeah, that's the first thing I saw.
If you go in there, it's gonna lock you in, and then you have to fight waves of enemies.
Okay, let's go. What are we waiting for? Let's go.
It's all on you then.
There's a guardian in here?
All right,
I'm assuming.
we're out. We're out. Get out.
Oh!
Oh no.
I was behind you. I was doing just fine. Oh my god! Oh, what's this ugly thing? Oh, kill it!
Okay, so we are going through basically sections of the dungeon that are going to get harder and harder and harder.
Oh god.
I might be trapped by...
Oh, you went in the combat room by yourself.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh,
I see you in there just like, yep, okay.
I'm sweating in real life. It's not that stressful, but I am dripping sweat.
wait.
Oh no, what?
Welcome to the village
Oh,
branch.
who
Okay,
built
so
this?
we have to get this key, and it's 777 emeralds.
Jesus! Wait, do you guys have
Oh.
any emeralds?
I'm beyond broke.
I think we should ransack this village then.
Oh yeah, let's listen to the developer. I think he's onto something.
This is actually
Oh, we
really
gotta
fun.
break
There's
these
a lot of-
spawners. Ugh!
It's chaos in the best way.
Okay, you take him on. You take him on. I'll collect the loot.
What a true hero.
Oh right, you can actually place blocks too. Why didn't I think of that?
That's what I'm saying. For some reason, it's not intuitive to be able to break and
Yeah.
place blocks. No way.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm just getting...
11, 12. Oh, I think I can buy the key now.
Yeah, open the door. So this tower is like a combat gauntlet. We're in. Chris, go in. Chris, no. I'm dead.
I died.
I've
I'm in,
died.
no,
so
I'm
we
in
have
here
to
now.
finish
Now
it.
I'm in here.
No, don't go in. Don't go
By
in.
yourself.
Did I die?
Wait, wait, wait.
Finish it.
Yeah, you have to
Or-
die
yeah, you
or
gotta-
win.
I killed them all. I'm probably gonna die.
I believe in you.
Nice.
Die.
We did it. Everybody ready?
Go!
Go.
Whoa! What just happened?
I just bought the absorption
Yeah.
perk.
Go! Let's go. What's gonna happen? Oh, it's the boss man!
Okay.
Die.
Something tells me I need to stand back.
Oh!
Oh Jesus!
Whoa! You've been watching too much anime, dude.
What is happening? Villagers were never meant to be this crazy.
Have you seen Shark Tank?
Keep in mind, this is the first phase. Oh, he's spawning. Okay, evoker.
Oh God! All hell is broken loose.
Get him, get
Oh,
him.
he's-
so
he's
close.
dead.
Yeah, you got him.
Yeah, no, I want to make it stop.
All right.
Ooh.
And now,
48 minutes,
Holy
18 deaths, 0
18
score.
deaths.
We all
Wait, what
died so
happened?
many times that we had 0 score.
A lot of it actually did still feel like vanilla Minecraft as far as the generation is concerned. I don't know about the end with Businessman Villager. I don't think you would see that. This is like the tiniest thing ever. I would make the roofs taller, the tower levels. I would give it an 8.7.
You can round that up to a 9.
Yeah, you can round that up. Round it up to a 9.
I really my favorite part was the villages. The villages. I liked the looting part and like exploring the whole village, and the builds were great. How open it was and such. You just need to maybe polish so that there's no bugs and such, and release that. Give it a solid 9.
With that, I successfully impressed the judges, but this isn't over until it's 10s across the board.